All right, we're gonna go ahead and get going. What's up, everyone? My name's Nick Martinez. I'm really excited to be on here with you today. Let me take this thing off. I'm not sweaty yet. Going to the gym after this. I live out in Minnesota. Been drinking and sharing ketones now for the last 8 years. It's flown by. I used to be a full-time airline pilot. I have two little girls, Callie and Juliana. Callie is actually in fifth grade. Juliana is in second grade, and they are currently at school, which is awesome. So we just had an amazing Playbook weekend in St. Louis, Missouri. And for those of you that have not yet been to a Playbook, it is a day-long business training event where people just learn how to share ketones. And today we have some people that were at the event who are going to share. If you happen to have been at the Playbook event, type I was there in the chat so I know who's on that was there. We had about 100 plus promoters that came in from all over to just learn, to just be part of the community, be part of the event, and have some fun. And what's amazing about it, we had a lady that flew from Toronto to come. That was cool. And then we had another lady that flew from Portugal just to come to Playbook. And get this, she was in Mexico on the Prove It incentive trip in Cancun. She flew home last week, got home on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then hopped on a plane on Thursday to come back to the United States just to come to Playbook. Talk about commitment. I was pretty impressed with that. But she said, I want to do this in Portugal. I want to learn. I need to know more. And she was just super, super excited to be there. So this morning, we're going to have a few people share some takeaways from Playbook and some of the value that they got from that. And I'm going to share some perspective. When I got started 8 years ago and I got ketones into my hands, I didn't have any fancy shaker cups. I didn't have any, fancy website. In fact, the product wasn't fancy either. It was literally a white pack with a sticker on it. But what did I do in order to create speed and urgency in my business? And I asked that question to myself this weekend because the more that I talked to a lot of our promoters, and 80% of the room was new within the last 6 months, and it had never been to a Proved event. And the interesting thing I kept hearing was most people hadn't actually taken ketones to any of their friends. They hadn't called up a friend and said, hey, I found this stuff. You got to check it out. Let me bring you some. And it was the awareness that we've gotten away from sharing this with the people that we know the most, that like us the most, that trust us the most, that we care about the most. And somehow we've just gotten lost in like, let's do a Zoom, or let's sell stuff on Facebook, or wherever we're at. And the realization that I had throughout this weekend was, if we can all get back into just bringing ketones to people, and remember that it's all it takes is ketones and an esophagus. If I can pour some ketones down your throat and get them into your body, guess what? You'll start to experience something over time. And our job as a promoter isn't any more complicated than that. How many packs of ketones can I get in different people's esophaguses in as short a period of time as humanly possible? Right. And the more that I do that, then the more people that are interested in becoming customers, the more people that are interested in maybe sharing this as a VIP customer and earning a discount on their product, the more people that are interested in possibly sharing it with their community and becoming promoters with us. And that's how the business expands. That's how the business grows. So there's not a right way or a wrong way to get ketones into somebody's hands, but there is the fastest way. And the fastest way is just to take action and do it right away. So I've got a couple people on there going to share. Let's see. I see Kate just commented. Kate came to this event. She drove, 3 or 4 hours from where she lives in Kentucky to come support the event and also be a participant. And she was one of our hosts. And you've heard from her in the past. But Kate, I'd love for you to come off mute and just share a couple of your takeaways, what your experience was like, and any aha moments that you had.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So, hey, everybody, my name is Kate Higdon. I'm from Owensboro, Kentucky. I've been drinking and sharing ketones for 7 years this month. This is my prover anniversary month. And I didn't know that I was going to be able to be on the huddle today. So when Nick was like, I messaged and I'm like, hey, I'll be able to be on. He's like, okay, share some takeaways. And I'm like, oof. All right, I'm going to try and narrow this down. So I took notes. I wrote some notes. So this playbook to me, like this was my third playbook this year. Three playbooks that I've been to this year so far. This one was my favorite so far. I think because just the compilation of different teams coming together. So I have three takeaways from you all. One is going to have an action step. So make sure you have your pen and paper ready. Number one, I am very excited about Team Prove It. Now more than ever, it feels like we are Team Prove It, like coming together and collaborating at this very high level is something that I personally have never seen at this level. And that is only going to help us all. There's the saying, a rising tide raises all ships. That is happening right now. I'm seeing it firsthand. I'm witnessing it. I'm taking part of it. I feel it minute by minute that the tide is rising. But I'm going to tell each and every one of you the only way that you get to be a part of that is if your ship is in the water. So a rising tide raises all ships, but only if your ship is in the water, right? And if you're on this huddle call, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. Your ship's obviously in the water, but really excited about that. Number two takeaway is sit at more tables with people who are where you want to be. And that is the importance of coming to events and being around people who are where you want to be because it's going to stretch your vision. And so often we spend the majority of our time around people who want to be where we are currently, which is great, right? Like we want to help other people. We're taught like we want to help the person that we were before. But we also need to spend just as much time, if not more, around the people who are where we want to be because we need to be spending so much time focused on our vision and where we're going, not just where we've been and where we are. So that was huge for me. I tried as much as possible. That's why I went in early. That's why I spent time at the pre-event. I would have spent time at the post-event, but that's another story for another time. Nick might laugh. He knows the little story behind that. But spend time with the people that you want to go. And then number three is don't go to an event and just be a note taker. Leave as an action taker. And I'm going to give you guys an action. So we talked a lot about being teachable versus being coachable. And I'm going to share this with you all because you're on this huddle call. And some of you are going to get off this huddle call and you're going to say, well, I was on the huddle call. I worked my business today. I did it. I showed up and I worked that business. No, you didn't. Showing up on this huddle call is not working your business. This is a teachable moment for you, but we want to teach you a coachable moment. And a coachable moment is to take what you learn and put it immediately into action. So that is what I have done. One of the actions that we left with that I'm in a group with some top leaders and like I'm being stretched. And it was, I made a post today about, hey, I am hand delivering a free ketone packet to 5 people in my town. If you have never drank ketones, message me. I'm coming over to shake it up for you. And that was my post today. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be getting on some local neighborhood chats and groups. I want to get ketones in people's hands today, not 3 days from now, not 5 days from now. And what Nick was saying is so true, y'all. I hit rank 8 in this company. Like our team hit rank 8 and no one from me down, no one in our team had ever that rank 8 happened without talking to any stranger on the internet. Like I said that and I said that from the stage, and it was crazy how many people went, oh, really? Because now we think that you have to go talk to strangers on the internet. No, like rank 8 business, not one person on our rank 8 team was selling ketones to strangers on the internet. We were all talking to people that we currently knew. So I want to go back to those basics, because the success, the next level in our company, is the infinity sign of putting those two together. The social media with the in-person, see the infinity line. So many takeaways, Nick. You know, I get a little chatty, but like those were my takeaways. And yeah, so hopefully that was helpful for y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kate. Take action, take action. And I love that. Delivering 5 packs of ketone, or a pack of ketones a day to 5 individuals in my community who's not tried these yet. Like, just think of how simple that is. Simple equals speed equals urgency equals more people experiencing ketosis. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Kate. Let's see. I saw Michelle. I don't know how you say your last name. Ogilvy. I think you're on here. Michelle's brand new, or a very new promoter, came to her very first event, and I got to meet and say hi to her. So Michelle, I'd love for you to come off mute real quick and just introduce yourself. Maybe share 60 seconds of your story, and then I'd love to also hear what your takeaway is from the event.
Absolutely. So, hi guys, my name is Michelle Ogilvy, and I am originally from Southeast Missouri, but I currently live in Rolla, Missouri, which is the middle of nowhere, but also the center of kind of everywhere. So it's a little crazy, but I have been drinking ketones, and I've been drinking ketones since May 15th, but I have been sharing ketones since the 31st. Are there 30 days in 30? However, whatever the last day of May was, that's whenever I started sharing them. So anyway, I was super excited to start taking ketones because I knew I needed to change my life, and that is exactly what they did. I have gotten so much more energy, and I'm at 64.6 pounds of fat right now, and better focus, and I'm sleeping better. So all the things. And so that's been super exciting. But I was very excited to get to go to Playbook because my regular job doesn't really allow me to get anywhere whenever there have been events. And so to have a Saturday event just an hour and 40 minutes away from me was just awesome. I'm like Kate, to say that there was just one takeaway or there were so many things, I didn't get to stay for the whole day. But if I had to choose just one thing that I could say was my main takeaway, it was, I think it was you, Nick, that said, align my actions with what I really want. And so I tend to have a habit of just kind of starting something and really have the best intentions. And then I let so many things sidetrack me. And so if I know though where my mind is set and where I'm going in my heart, and I know what my vision is, regardless of what all is swirling around me and everything else, then my team, myself can get myself back aligned with what I really want out of everything. And so that probably was my main takeaway. Just do the thing, do the dadgum thing. And so urgency, it was, you spoke that. I think Natalie said that. Some of the other girls said that too. And that was something else too. Like, I mean, what is holding me back? What am I afraid of? And what is keeping me from just doing it? And so that was probably the biggest thing for me, and just in the community as well, seeing everyone else everybody's really just like me. At one point you were just like me. Amber was just like me, and so I think we get in this mindset of, ooh, Nick Martinez, Amber Horn, Kate Higdon, and and so many other people, or I do anyway, I'm speaking for myself, and we forget you had a day one too. And so those were my main takeaways. And so I loved going. I was so glad you guys brought it to St. Louis. I'm like, bring more stuff to St. Louis or to the middle of the earth, please.
The middle of the earth, huh? The earth revolves around Missouri.
Middle of the middle of US.
I like it. I like it. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing. I appreciate your input, and thanks for being there. Thanks for showing up. And you'll find that like 90% of life, as Brian always says, is showing up. And the one thing that I know is inevitable if we all continue to show up, number one for ourselves, number two for our business, number three at events, it's inevitable that you will start to grow, you will start to change, you will start to shift. And if you're doing the action in the process, guess what? The business starts to just unfold magically. And you're exactly right. Day one, Nick Martinez was like, this is a 15-year project that I've been working on. And it's something I've worked on every single day for 15 years. So how do you create success? Well, you do it over and over again. Somebody was teaching social media. Megan George was teaching on just some basics on social media, and she shared how she goes live. And somebody's like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. She said, well, I've gone live like thousands of times now, so I'm pretty good at it. But you should have seen it when I started. And I shared my story of when I started going live to start with. I got a message from my sponsor in the business. She said, Nick, you're really boring. No one wants to watch that. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, that doesn't feel very good. I'm just being me. She's like, well, you're not that boring in real life, but you're pretty boring on Facebook. You're kind of talking like you're a pilot. And then I'm like, okay, I better adjust. So I did another live. And then the next day I get a message from a friend. He said, Nick, were you drunk during that live? And I'm like, no, I wasn't. I was just trying to be animated and fun. And so I went from being boring to being drunk. But guess what? After another, 5, another 10, another 20 times of doing it, I started to get the hang of it. I started to feel more confident and more comfortable. Now people look at the Keto Dad page, or they look at me when I'm going live or training on a Zoom, like, oh, I could never do that. Well, you could. You just have to do it 3,000. I think I've gone live like 3,755 times. So if you do that 3,755 times, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have made a skill. You're going to be masterful at it. But you know what? The first 500 might not be that awesome. 18 months it took me, remember, to get a customer through social media. Now I was talking to lots of people out the door, but I'm going to give you a challenge here at the end. So thank you for sharing that. That's just a great takeaway. Let's do one more. I don't know if she's on here. Jennifer Roberts, are you on? I don't see your name. If you are, raise your virtual hand so I see you. And then while we're doing that, let's see. I know Josephine is on, and you were at the event. I'd love for you to come off mute real quick. I know I didn't say your name right. But introduce yourself and maybe just share one takeaway or experience from the event.
Okay, well, hey everyone. Oh, my cup is so full. So, oh yeah, I'm Joseph. I live in Chicago, but I'm from the event. I'm in Shiloh, Illinois, visiting a friend. So I would say two things. One is like, how we think of expenses, when there's an event going on, it's like, oh, how much is it going to cost me to get there, hotel, all the expenses. And when I look at this, like I was sharing with the group the other day, I got a call Thursday night saying, hey, we need you for a 2-day project. We will pay you. And I'm about to leave the next day to come, to St. Louis. And so I said, give me 20 minutes. I'll call you back. And I said, you know what? I already paid, but it's not so much about the money. I was like, instead of going get a job and get paid for those 2 days, I'm going to go invest in my business. So eventually I never have to work for money. And my takeaway is, what would have I missed thinking of how much it's going to cost me? And I think I've heard leaders before say that. Don't think about how much it's going to cost you to get there. Think of what it's going to cost you not to go. And like Kate said, the team Prove It is phenomenal. And just the experience of being around all of you, Brittany, Lindy, Jamie, I mean, so many just awesome people. And then yesterday, walking down St. Charles and just experiencing life together. For me, I would say I would have missed all of that and it has enriched my life. And I'm like, you know what? I can do this. All I have to do, be myself and live and connect with people. So that's my big takeaway. Thank you so much, you all. This was like absolutely phenomenal. You have changed my life.
I love it. Well, thank you. It was so much fun to have you there, and you brought energy and value to the event as well. So thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
I mean, the one aspect that I realize is we have the ability now in this stage of the world to do a lot of stuff virtual. We can do these Zooms every single Monday and Wednesday. We can do lives. We can have, team meetings. And that is fantastic. And it creates a lot of structure and a great foundation for this. At the same time, though, there's an element that's lost from when you're in person. There's a transfer of energy. There's the human connection. So the more of these opportunities that are out there, my encouragement to all of you is just figure out how to get there, because it will allow the shift that you need or that you're looking for to happen and to occur. And then the more of those environments of just in person that you create in your community, you're going to start to see your business go from addition to multiplication. And what I mean by that is if you get in front of somebody and shake up ketones for them, they may become a customer of ketones, and they are more likely to join you and share it with 3 or 4 more friends, which will lead to you to sharing it with them. And then they're going to find somebody that will share it with 3 or 4 more friends. The next thing you know, you're 7 levels deep in your business. Whereas if I'm just selling ketones on Facebook, which you can do and you can make money doing, it's awesome. That is going to be very transactional. It's going to be very linear. It's going to be very additional, not multiply. So anytime that I've done that, my goal is, how do I get to know them? How do I connect with them? How can I be in person with them as quickly as possible to cause this to ripple out further rather than just ripple from me? It's like throwing a rock into a pond that's glassy. It goes and goes and goes. And that glassy pond is the human connection, the human connection. When I just am virtual and not in person, it's like throwing a rock into a pond that's got tons of wind on it. The ripples just end, right? And it truly is magic when you get together. So coming up here, we have our Boston playbook. If you're within driving, if you can make the flight, if it's an easy flight, come to Boston. It's November 4th. It's going to be incredible. We're going to be doing like a scavenger hunt downtown Boston on Friday night. Probably a brunch on Sunday if people are still around. It's just going to be amazing. So put that on your radar and absolutely see if you can clear your schedule to come to Epic. If you're coming to Epic, type I'm coming. If you're trying to figure out Epic, try figuring it out. Type figuring it out, and let's get you there. Right? If it's not on your radar yet, put it on your radar. Talk to your team leader, whoever you're working with. See if they have any extra tickets floating around. We have a bunch that I believe we're able to get at the bulk pricing that are still available to be assigned, but I know that is coming to an end very shortly. So you need to commit. And coming to that event is like the next step in your business. If you show up there, you leave with a different understanding, a different level of belief, and a different level of commitment to you and your business. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge, because this is the action part that Kate was saying, like you can come and just listen, or you can take action. So my challenge to you is between now and the end of the week, now and Friday, I want you to, and you can set a different number, but I want you to, at minimum, go get 5 packs of ketones out of your cabinet, out of your drawer, wherever you keep them. I want you to put them on your counter and put them on your table. And I want to make it your goal. I want you to make it your goal to get those into the hands of 5 people that have never drank ketones before. So you might message some friends in your phone and say, hey, have you drank ketones yet? I've got a pack of ketones with your name on it. I'd love for you to experience it. I was just challenged to share this with 5 new people. You can put up a post on Facebook. Who on my Facebook hasn't yet tried ketones? I'm dropping off ketones today like Kate did. I don't care how you do it. I just want you to get 5 of those into somebody's hands. If you want to have a bonus business, if you want to have this business explode into November and December, my challenge to you is commit one box to that process. It's 20 servings. That's 20 people. Somewhere between 5 and 20 is going to be the magical number for you, right? If you're like, I don't have any time, Nick, and I don't have any product, start with 5. If you're somebody that says, I want this to go to the next level, I want to hit MVP multiplier this month, or MVP, I want to take this to the next level, do 20. Because I promise you, by having those 20 conversations, you're going to sort and sift, and you're going to find the people that are looking for you. So what number will you commit to? What actions will you take over the next 5 days? And we'll be checking in on those on Wednesday. So I'd love to hear some stories as a result. So thanks for being on. Appreciate y'all hopping on the huddle this morning. I hope you have an amazing week. Happy Monday. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you, Kate, for sharing. Appreciate all of you. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.